time and place when you can work from anywhere.
Two ladies in their mid to late 27s have decided to.
First stop, Augada, Puerto Rico.
What's with all the plantains?
Do we even like plantains? I don't think we do.
Why is everything fried?
Are there frozen vegetables on my side?
What is magic ketchup?
You can buy several different types of sangria at the gas station.
I immediately regretted that taste test.
What does Kelly think of her first beach coconut?
This is the Workationing Podcast. Ooh, yes, it was a good sneeze.
There's nothing like a good sneeze.
Nothing like it in this world.
All right, so this is our tentatively titled local flavor section.
Yeah.
Well,
do we like this name? I think
we'll find out. We can always change it.
Yeah, for now, local flavor.
So local flavor encompasses the general local flavor. So that includes the culture, the food, what the drinks are like here.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start with some facts about Augada, Puerto Rico, which is where we're staying.
Yes.
I wasn't aware of the history of this town.
I was not either. It's actually pretty interesting. First of all, the name Augada means watered in Spanish, which I didn't know.
It's been raining here a little bit off and on. I can see that. It is January, though.
It is. So it is like their rainy season down here. The other thing that's been kind of interesting, although probably not that atypical for kind of a tropical climate and an island, is that we've definitely noticed that you can be under just the biggest storm cloud and just a few blocks away it is sunny.
Yes.
So it rains in kind of a sporadic way and just in little pockets here and there. It's kind of interesting.
There are bugs here, but you very rarely see them.
Ninja bugs.
Ninja bugs that will bite you up. So as I am talking right now, I have
just
surpassed my previous record of 22 bug bites. And now I have 26 new bug bites because one day I forgot to hose down in Rachel Carson's tears before I went to the beach.
I love that. And now we're both the proud owners of a shiny new case of Zika. We're pretty sure.
So the population of Aguada, Puerto Rico is 42,000. It was founded in 1508, and it's said that Christopher Columbus first entered Puerto Rico in November of 1493 via Aguada on his second voyage. And there is some contention with that stat because the neighboring town of Aguadilla says that Christopher Columbus came through their town first.
It's a real privilege, I'm sure. It's interesting, though, because we are actually on the west side of the island. So it is interesting that that they thought he came in from this side.
Right, instead of something like San Juan.
Right.
On the other side.
Not really sure how that works. But okay, I accept it.
Maybe he got lost. They didn't have great maps there from what...
No, he thought he was in India, so really coming in on the west side as opposed to the east.
The language here is Spanish, and the currency is the U.S. dollar, which is an interesting combo.
It is. And it's interesting, though, because then you're on an island, and it is still a little hard to figure out how much things cost. Some things are cheaper than I would think they would be.
Like what?
Like just toilet paper in general, although the quality of the toilet paper, not the greatest.
We could have sprung for the Charmin, but we didn't.
Yeah, my undercarriage has been happier. But that's fine.
All right, so let's talk about the vibe of the culture here because they don't seem to... I think that at least the town motto of Aguada is turn down for what?
Yeah, this is really a fuck-free zone.
Not a lot of fucks to be had around here.
No, you can see it in everything. They talk about island time. And island time, listen, like when you are really checked out, when we do finally take a break and go to the beach and get to really experience island time and sink into that, it is actually really nice.
I disagree.
Carrie hates it. I love it.
Nobody knows what hurry up means around here.
No. And in some ways, it's kind of nice. For instance, when you are like us, just sort of froggering across a highway so that you can get to the beach, and everyone just stops their cars and does not yell at you.
No, that's nice.
They don't honk at you. There are no waving of fingers.
No, nobody cares. They're just like, oh, here, let me stop my day so
Yeah,
that you can go about yours.
Yeah, here you go. On to the beach, ladies. Which I enjoy. That is really nice. But when you're trying to literally get anything at all done, checking out at the convenience store, driving in a car, people will stop in the middle of the road to speak to somebody.
And let the cars just pile up behind them.
Yeah, they'll just hang out their window and talk to somebody. And the people behind them are not honking, are not pissed, are not threatening. I feel like you would be dragged from your car and beaten in the streets in the States.
There was a 6-car pile up, which is quite a bit of traffic for Augada,
a town
Puerto
of
Rico.
42,000.
Well, and it was all because the guy up front was just having a conversation with the leaf blower outside.
And everyone was like, that is fine.
It's cool.
I'll be back here trimming my nails or whatever. You guys just let me know when you are done and we can get back to this whole driving down the street thing.
The cars here have very interesting sound systems.
Oh, like honestly, some rednecks back home would be awfully jealous and I think very interested to know what's going on down here.
I think so. They need to
Puerto
step up
Rico.
their game because they are behind and they don't even know it.
Yeah, like that weird neighbor of mine that I had who had that like giant truck with like the huge like sound system in it. He's got nothing on these people. They can't even fit the sound systems inside of the truck. It's in the bed of the truck.
There was a truck that drove by earlier this morning that had a speaker system in the back of it that was multiple stories high, and it was almost like a cave-like situation with a full-on DJ booth in the middle of it.
Just in case you need it.
That DJ had a window so he could see the crowd that he was riling up.
Right.
It was intense.
Well, and sometimes they're just driving down the street playing music so loud that it hurts you inside of your house.
It cannot be comfortable to be in the cars with the music that loud.
I can't even imagine. But then this is also a way of advertising around here.
I wish I could say it was a hearse because that is the only way this story would be better. It was a van with one of these speaker systems up on the top of it advertising the funeral home.
Right. Which was really a mind-blowing experience.
Like, you need to be hearing about this funeral home as you're on a conference call. Please.
Yeah.
Is somebody going to die? Did somebody just die? Have we got the home for you?
For real. Can we also, because I think this goes into the culture, can we talk a little bit about the judginess that we have encountered?
So, actually, this fits with this segment because we did a sangria tasting, which we'll get into, but we went downstairs to the convenience store that we live above and bought one of every single types of sangria they had, which was 5, incidentally.
Right.
And the guy looked at us like we got some judgment.
We always seem to get judgment down there. Now, listen, I understand when 2 ladies come in. It's not like we bought them out of sangria, but we did try every kind. And
one of them was in a 2-liter bottle.
I didn't decide that sangria needs to come in a 2-liter bottle. That's on someone else.
Or a 1-liter fun size pouch.
Yeah, I didn't say I need a giant Capri Sun of sangria.
But in the interest of bringing you, the listener, the local flavor, we felt responsible for tasting at least one of every type.
But I feel like
sangrias.
even we've gone down there. First of all, we have not been drinking a ton on this trip. Like,
no.
We've really taken a lot of time off from that. But if we go down there and between 2 girls buy 1 6-pack, I feel like we really get some side eye.
He actually said, "You girls are going hard tonight with a 6-pack of Corona Light."
It just sound like a pretty intense party. So I don't know if like ladies don't really party down here, or if
on the porch outside it's almost always men and people on dates.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of women out.
Take your date to the convenience store porch bar.
Right. I'm sure we seem just like the most ungodly of heathens up here, which is not entirely inaccurate.
We look different than the people here. I saw a couple of blondes, a couple of bleach blondes I think that that's a new experience for them. You're a redhead.
Yeah.
We get honks going down the street. So that's how the men here let you know they're looking.
Yeah, just one honk. I do appreciate it. It feels less aggressive than some other places I've been.
It is. It was weird when the guy just pulled over and expected us to get into his vintage Jeep, though.
That was a lot.
That
was a lot. We could have used less.
That was one of the 2 creepiest things that have happened so far since we've gotten here.
Right.
So, yeah, there was some judginess on our sangria buying and also the 6-pack of the Corona Light. The eyebrows are very interesting here.
I do appreciate the eyebrows. Everyone's eyebrow game is very much on fleek. And at the grocery store in the impulse buy section, you can find multi-packs of eyebrow razors, which I didn't even really know was a thing. But I'm glad that I do know, because I was really questioning some of the angles that they're getting with these eyebrows.
They have steps in their eyebrows, like old school Vanilla Ice steps.
Yes.
In his haircut.
Yes, and you know what? I'm glad to know how that is done, and I appreciate it. Carrie really wanted me to give it a try.
If I had thicker eyebrows, I would go for it myself.
But I'm worried about the grow out, really.
Just pencil it in. That's what I do.
Right? But yeah, the eyebrows here are really, really good.
We should talk about the food.
Yes, always the food.
I wish we liked plantains because they're everywhere and in everything.
Let me tell you, if you like a plantain,
this is the place to come. They have fried plantains. They've got, it's like the Forrest Gump Bubba Shrimp thing of plantains down here.
9 times out of 10 when you're eating something, it's off of a plate of just fried plantain.
They have baskets of fried plantains.
Which I do appreciate. I do feel like they're going green. I just feel like anything that can be made out of a plantain here is. So be prepared for that.
Including mofongo is made out of plantains. And mofongo is on all of the menus out here.
Yes.
And imagine like a rice pilaf that's shaped. I've seen them in pyramids. I've seen them in your traditional round ramekin looking thing. Ramekin turned upside down.
You know what it has? That vibe to it is sort of, I don't know. I'm kind of obsessed with old recipes from the 50s where they would just use Jell-O and gelatin and like everything.
You need some good Jell-O molds.
Yeah, and they're just like, here's a mold, and you put it. It's some lime Jell-O and some tuna or maybe some Spam,
mayonnaise.
like so. Yeah, a little mayonnaise on top. It's delicious. Your family's gonna love it. But mofongo has that vibe about it where it's like like it doesn't need to be all these shapes, but you can't stop them. They're doing it.
No, and you can get just about any kind of mofongo you want. Our friend Angela had vegetarian mofongo.
Yeah.
You can get shrimp, camarones. You can get carne.
I don't know if there's that much in there.
Poi.
That's a lot.
That's when you want extra.
You
carne.
tried it.
You can get pollo, chicken.
Pollo.
Like there are a variety of types of mofongo. If you like that kind of thing, I would recommend that you at least try mofongo when you come to Puerto Rico, because you'd be doing yourself a disservice if you didn't. Chuletas can is a thing out here, which is a deep fried piece of pork. I don't know if they deep fry the whole thing, but it's basically a pork rind with a pork chop all in one dish.
Ugh. See, I just can't with all that. I saw it because Alex had it, right?
Yep, Alex had it.
And it did not at all. I'm not a huge meat person to begin with.
I'm not that into pork.
And then you give me like a big rack. Like I don't like it when my meat looks too much like it used to be
Something
an animal.
Else. Well, we're in for a treat later. Sangria, as we've stated, sangria is a
all
big
the
thing.
sangrias. Well, and what we discovered we'll post a blog about it. Our findings from the gas station sangria taste test. And first of all, what we learned is that they are all made and bottled in Puerto Rico, which actually makes sense because we figured out that, which I guess isn't like any big secret. It makes a lot of sense. A lot of their economy is based on processing sugarcane.
Right.
So, and a lot of that goes towards the rum industry. And so I think sort of
It ends up as sangria somehow. And this
Whatever
sangria,
sludge is left over from the rum making process.
they turn into sangria. It's not good.
It's not good.
We wanted to like at least one of those because we got 5 different kinds. We got a bubbly sangria, which was not as effervescent as I would have liked.
I really wanted to believe that there was such a thing as a delicious sparkling sangria that came in a 2-liter bottle, because that would have been that would have been a win
For $5.99.
right? But it was, oh god, it was really bad.
It was still better than its sister traditional classic sangria, made by the same manufacturer. That one was probably our least favorite of the nightmares that we tried.
Yeah, I found some of the pouches. Because they also like to serve their booze, including sangria, in a Capri Sun like pouch, which I am very much into the spirit of this.
Yes,
I think it
got
is
a little straw on the back. You can stab right through it.
Who doesn't want an adult Capri Sun? And yet, really one of the most vile things I've ever tried to drink.
We tried 2 different kinds. The Palo sangria, which was actually a rum cocktail, as we learned when we investigated that pouch further. The second, you see advertisements for all over Puerto Rico, and it is sangria with 3 eyes.
3 eyes. That's how you know it's good.
Sangriiia.
Because it's a party in a pouch.
And it was not.
It was pretty terrible.
We really fancified our wine tasting or sangria tasting experience. We approached it like the very serious matter that it was. We got dressed up for each other. We wore the fanciest dresses that we've worn since we've gotten here. We had a dump bucket for the sangrias that we didn't enjoy. And I was shocked at how full that dump bucket was.
Because we were pouring like maybe 1-2 ounce pours for each one, and we didn't finish them.
No.
Because they were that bad.
No, we didn't finish one of our 2 ounce pours. That's it. Oh, you and I finished
the first one. We were a little more dedicated at the beginning, and then we realized we didn't have to be. We didn't have to do this to ourselves.
Found out that it was all downhill from there, and we tapped out real
quick.
I
didn't. They were so sweet. Like, I really didn't want to have full blown diabetes at the end.
and the viscosity was weird. They love pulp here. They put pulp in everything. They put pulp in their orange drink.
Yeah, you can get an orange drink, that is pulpy. Which, for what? It doesn't taste anything like an orange. Would you like something that tastes something like an orange but has the texture of a freshly squeezed orange?
Give this to your kids. You're going to like it.
Yeah. Like, all right, then.
They're big on root vegetables out here.
They are.
I can't identify many of them. But
no.
They are for sale in the grocery stores, and they take up a significant amount of real estate.
Yeah, they're all just sort of like a gnarly-ass potato, although some of them have turned out to be pretty delicious.
Yucca chips. God's Pringles, as Angela said.
Yeah.
This is what Pringles are trying to taste like. Mm-hmm. And failing miserably at. They've got a great texture. They taste just like an original Pringle.
Yeah, they're really delicious. I was a big fan.
And then the last thing that's on the food section for our local flavor episode is
a personal fave.
Oh man, I've got a line on this. It's $18 a pound plus whatever delivery fee I have to pay this man. But we're going to try chicken of the trees,
which is what they call it. Because what it is, it's a real cutesy way of saying we have too goddamn many iguanas. So we decided to try to eat that shit. So, because why not?
Well, they have 4 million iguanas here. There are more iguanas on this island than there are people. And I watched some National Geographic thing that I wish I hadn't watched because these women, these lady iguanas lay like 90 eggs a year. 98 eggs a year, excuse me. And then 90 of them hatch into full-blown baby iguanas. And some of these, they grow up to be like 6 feet long, and they move so fast.
They're so fast, and they are really horrifying. You know, at the beginning of Jurassic Park, like when the Jeep comes around that corner, and then the music starts playing, and there's like...
Shoot-ah!
Shoot-ah! It's so, like, they're so big. They're so big.
And we passed dead ones on our beach walk, and they they look alive. They stay looking alive for at least 10 days.
Yeah.
You walk by and you're just like, I'm not entirely sure that you're kind of curled up in a weird
Just playing the
position.
long game. It made you feel safe those last 2 days. And on the third day, it strikes.
But we saw one by the beach, and I went to go get a closer look because I sometimes have a death wish, and it just scurried into it moved way faster than I thought it should have. And then that fucker swam, and it swam faster than I could, and
It's a horror show out here. It really is.
There's lots of wildlife. Anyway, so we are going to try the chicken of the trees 3 ways because I want to give this meat the full opportunity it deserves. So, like in Puerto Rico, they're trying to solve their iguana problems by putting the iguanas on menus. And apparently the iguana is a delicacy in many South American countries. They've got an iguana shortage. Here they have no natural predators, and they are wealthy and abundant in iguana.
Right.
It's red meat. You wouldn't think it's red meat, this chicken of the trees?
No, I would not have thought that at all. Listen, I'm very dedicated to this process, and so I'm going to do this, but I want you to know that this is the stuff of nightmares, that I do not want to eat this, that I don't want to know about people eating this.
We should try it. We should at least try it. And so
This might be the thing that pushes me back into full-blown vegetarianism. This might be the one. We'll see.
So we're going to try it sautéed, grilled, and maybe beer battered and fried. Little iguana nuggets. Kelly's looking at me like, girl, no.
I'm so horrified.
I don't want to. We're going to try it. We'll see what it's like. We should try the local cuisine.
Do they even eat it here? Because I feel like they ship it to places where they're dumb enough to eat it. I don't think they eat it here, do they?
I don't think.
How do you see iguanas running around on the daily and then eat one and be like, that looks delicious? Because they do not look delicious.
There are all kinds of critters here running around. There are free range horses. People just let their horses go free.
Yeah, that's a real thing that happens.
Roam the streets. Some donkeys. Saw those. Saw a crane riding a wild horse. I don't know if it's wild or just somebody moved away and left their cat outside kind of situation.
Yeah, it's kind of unclear. You can't really tell. People just sort of let their animals go as well. And there are packs of wild dogs, but then there's also dogs that look like they're stray, but they've got collars.
And the biggest balls you've ever seen.
Yeah, and they're just out making more dogs, palling around with their dog friends. But they've got a collar on.
I think they need programs to help control the pet population out
They
here.
do. Get Bob Barker on the phone.
Those wild dogs are legit. And there are many of them. When those 3 ran right in front of us and we were both kind of like, well, what do we do?
Right. Luckily, they were a pack of like happy wild dogs.
They were just going about their business.
Yeah, they weren't concerned about us or anything, really. I was a little concerned.
I was concerned, too.
Getting ripped apart by a pack of wild dogs.
Not a great way to
doesn't sound
start
like a lot of fun to me.
No, I don't think that's a good way to kick off workation hang.
No. And it's the kind of thing I've always had the suspicion, and it's actually one of my biggest fears, that I'm going to die in like a really stupid way. And I feel like that was just like appropriately absurd.
What do you think of the food here in general? Because I would rate it about a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I have not been super impressed with the food. Some of the things are good. I really enjoy some camarones, but I really enjoy my camarones when they just leave that shit alone and just grill it up and give it to me, because honestly, it's hard to screw that up.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fried food.
They fry their meat here. They deep fry their meat, not with any kind of batter on it, but just dunk it into the deep fryer.
Yeah, and that's a little much. I'm not the hugest fan. The plantains, as we've discussed, if you're into that, what we have not discussed is our new discovery of mayo ketchup.
Oh, mayo ketchup.
Mayo ketchup is everything down here. So our very first night, we stopped at this nice restaurant. We've been driving it seemed like for frickin' ever.
We got a little bit lost.
Yeah. And so we ended up at this restaurant by our place, and it actually was probably the nicest place we've been since we've been here.
We should go back before we leave.
We should. And they had a really good margarita situation going on, but they brought us this dipping sauce for our various fried meats and plantains. And we're like, what is this delicious aioli? Like, this is so fancy. This is gourmet. Like, what is this?
Gotta bring this back to the mainland.
It turns out it's mayo ketchup, which is literally just exactly what it sounds like.
But we thought she was saying magic ketchup at first.
Right.
And we were like, it is magic.
It is.
Don't tell me that secret.
The secret is mayo, it turns out. And then they just give it to you with everything. They're like, here's your garlic bread with mayo ketchup.
Garlic bread with mayo ketchup is
a big thing down here, actually.
And
I don't even feel like they go together very well.
No, that's in excess. Plantains and mayo ketchup, I'm on board. I will dip my camarones sometimes in some mayo ketchup, depending on the situation. But it's with everything. Sometimes they fancy it up.
Yeah, if you're at a really fancy restaurant, there'll be some green flecks in the mayo ketchup to signify that this is a fancy version.
Mm-hmm. They need you to know.
And it does make you feel fancier, I found. But I don't know those. It's just some green flecks. It might be grass clippings. I'm not sure.
So mayo ketchup, definitely a thing. It's the ranch of Puerto Rico.
It really is.
Do you know what still exists in Puerto Rico that I haven't seen in like a very long time and I get very excited about?
Smirnoff Ice. Is that not what you were going to say?
No, but I forgot about that.
You can get just any flavor of Smirnoff Ice here that you would like.
I thought they canceled that.
Oh, well, they sent it all here. Maybe there was too much demand here. They were like, we can only really handle Puerto Rico.
Oh my God. I didn't realize that there were multiple flavors of Smirnoff Ice.
So wait, what were you talking about?
Sizzler.
Oh, Sizzler. Along the same lines. This is Sizzler, alive and well in Puerto Rico, in case you're wondering.
If you have missed your Sizzler buffet, I know where you can find one.
Yep.
Right here in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
So I think, does that wrap local flavor?
Yeah, I think that was it. I would say overall, we've really enjoyed our time here.
We have.
Not the best food or drinks.
No.
But not the worst.
No, and we've been cooking a lot at home anyway. So that's been a good thing for us. We've been able to eat more healthy.
Right. And if you just decide to not eat fried things, what you have left is basically vegetables and like protein. And that's what we've been sticking with a lot when we've been going out.
Right.
We've both lost weight.
Yes.
So,
maybe because we rate the food a 4 or 5 out of 10.
Probably. We'll see what happens when we go to a place where the food ranks a little higher. All right. Well, that has been, I think, this edition of Local Flavor.
Yes, we will have to report back as to the flavor, texture, all around.
I think that's going to warrant its own episode. I think we're going to have a lot to say.
Oh, man. Yes. So that iguana episode is a definite don't miss.
Absolutely. All right. Well, until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye. This has been another episode of the Workationing Podcast. If you like what you heard here, make sure to like, rate, subscribe, and leave us a review on iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, or wherever else on the internet you're hearing this.
You can also go to workationing.com. That's workationing.com.